What is up, viewers of the Daily Discussion? Today is a big, big day, as it is the full day after breaking news, which happened last night, of the Supreme Court, the draft of justices, which is basically what justices write up and they write their opinion on, that gets released as the court's ruling, has been leaked. This is like the first time ever a Supreme Court draft was ever leaked. And it is for a very, very, very big reason. Because Roe versus Wade, the monumental court case that legalized abortion in the United States, is now supposedly going to be overturned. 50 years of precedent this court case had, and it is now being overturned. What does this mean? This means we technically do not know until June, because June will be when the ruling comes out, etc. But as of now, the court, John Roberts, has confirmed that this opinion that was leaked is 100% real. So now we know that they are seriously considering overturning Roe v. Wade. And that's huge. That's huge for politics. That's huge for healthcare. That's huge for everything in the United States that has to do with healthcare and government, politics, law, etc. This is also huge for the law world, because now you're saying that no matter how long a precedent lasted, how much can a precedent be effective? Because Roe v. Wade was a precedent for 50 years, etc. That was known as kind of the law of the land without really being really messed with. But now you can see, now it's for real. So what does this mean in terms of politics and abortion and everything else? What this practically means is, like Politico has reported, is basically abortion will now be legal to regulate at all terms of a pregnancy. So you could practically, the heartbeat bill is a good example. The Texas bill is a good example. Basically, all those bills would be constitutional with this ruling. Because the monumental court case of Roe versus Wade stated that you cannot regulate abortion within the first trimester, which is practically the first 13 weeks, first 12 to 13 weeks of a woman's pregnancy. Well, now with that thrown out, the way it looks like it's going to be is basically the heartbeat bill is now legally constitutional. It is now legal. It is now constitutional, which I believe is definitely pretty wild, to say the least. My opinion on all this is, listen, when it comes to abortion, I'm not the polar opposites. I don't believe post-abortion, post-birth abortion. I don't believe in post or no abortion at all. I'm in the middle. I say regulate it. 13 weeks is the cutoff. If you don't have one after 13 weeks, you shouldn't be allowed to get one unless your health is in danger. Before 13 weeks, anything goes. That's how I feel about it. So I'm practically, like I said, right smack in the middle. I don't like no abortions at all, but I don't like late term and things like that, where you're getting into when the fetus starts really developing. I can see I have problems with that, unless the mother's health is in danger. So what does this mean in terms of the Supreme Court? This is huge. The Supreme Court now has to take a serious look at the people working for the Supreme Court, the people involved in the Supreme Court, because this stuff should not happen. Whether you agree with the ruling or not, this should not happen. We should not see a Supreme Court draft be completely exposed a month before the decision And instead of everyone's like protesting about the decision, we should be trying to work and protest how this ruling got outside of the court. Because it's like a judge and a jury. You don't know the ruling until the last leg of the trial. That's how the courts and the law system of the United States work. But what happened here is someone turned it over to someone where Politico got a hold of it, and now we have released a political war and a court war on the entire United States. What does this mean for Republicans? What does this mean for Democrats? Honestly, this is a very polar issue because there is people who really don't like abortion. And there are people that really like abortion. And I believe it's going to drive people further polarized towards ends of the spectrum. And also, I believe this could be a serious downfall for the Republican Party. Because the Republican Party is the party against abortion. The conservatives are the judges that are saying Roe v. Wade is unconstitutional. And quite frankly, I don't know what I think about that. Because, listen, the problem with that the Republicans need to do is when the Democrats are going radical, if you're a Republican, don't match it with the same amount of radicalness. Try and meet in the middle to show that you're trying to get something done. Just don't say, oh, well, you want to say 2 hours after a baby's born, we can abort it. So I'm just going to say no abortion at all. No, you continue to stand on even ground to, like I said, the 13 weeks that is easy to argue where both sides can be like, Democrats, okay, we have it. Republicans, okay, we regulated it. Both sides aren't completely happy, but both sides aren't totally thrown out of balance as well. Because I believe there's one thing in politics is if one side leaves with everything they want, something didn't go right. So that's basically how I feel about this. I think it's a huge issue going forward, especially because this close to the midterms. And also just something that I'm thinking about right now is another thing is this. People are saying that this was purposely released to the press to put pressure on the Supreme Court judges, which I think is also a complete disregard for the rule of law. Is when you're in a court trial, you shouldn't be looking at outside media, whereas now you're basically throwing the court and the media together, which I do not view as a good thing, and I believe it puts a lot of pressure on the court. So I can't say I would really view this as a great thing if the Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade. I can't say I would view that as a huge victory for me. Whether or not for my viewers, that's for you to decide. But I would say my opinion, and for me, I would not view this as a victory. I would view this as one more step towards radicalism on not just the right, but also the left. Because you're going to have states like Mississippi, like Alabama, completely ban abortion. Then at the same time, you're going to have states like California, like New York, states like that, solid blue states that are now going to really go for late-term abortion. So politics definitely work in mysterious ways. This story is continuing to update. Keep watching it, keep looking at it, and we wish you all the best. Catch you in my next video. See ya.